Hi, this is Carolyn, and I'm so excited to have my husband here tonight. And we are going to discuss lets. I find lets to be very confusing as to when you can and can't call them. So I think what we're going to do is go through a couple situations, and I'm going to ask Mike what he would do in that situation, and then we'll see what the rule actually is. Okay, let's start with the first one, which is a ball rolls into the court. Who can call a let?
Okay, so I guess I'm coming at this from not really knowing the rules, just what I would do on a tennis court, right?
Right.
Okay. So without knowing what the rules say, and a ball rolls into the court, whether it's on my side or my opponent's side, whether I'm hitting the ball or they're hitting the ball, the way I usually play it is that any side can call a let. So that's what I normally do, even if it's not necessarily under your feet, if it rolls behind you or rolls across the court and it keeps going. I've just always done it where either team or either player could call a let. So that's what I've normally done. I have no idea if that's right or not.
Yes, so that is right. Anybody can call a let if the ball rolls onto the court. Now, what if the ball rolls onto the court, people see it, and they wait to call the let? Maybe they see it roll on, they hit a couple more balls, and then they're getting ready to hit a shot, and they decide later to call the let.
Oh, I think in that case, you're supposed to call the let as soon as the interference or whatever happens. So as soon as the ball comes onto the court, you're supposed to call it. You're not supposed to wait, try to win the point, and then call let if you end up not winning. So I haven't had a situation where it's been an issue on a court. But I think the rule is, and the way I normally play it is, if you don't call it right away, you lose your right to call it. That's what I think.
Yes, that's correct. So the player loses the right to call let if the player unreasonably delays in making the call. So you're supposed to call the let as soon as you see it. Okay, that one makes sense to me. The next one, what happens if a racket comes out of the hand of a player on the court?
Comes out of my opponent's hand or out of my hand?
Either. How about your opponent's hand? You're playing and it comes out of your opponent's hand.
Okay.
Is that a let?
I would think if my opponent drops his or her racket, I think I could call a let.
That's actually wrong.
What?
It doesn't make sense to me either. No one can claim a let. A let is never authorized for a hindrance caused by something within a player's control, is what they say, but that no one on the court can call a let. And they say it's the same thing if a shoe comes off. So if your opponent's shoe comes off, no one can call a let.
Okay. Wow, that's new to me.
Me too. When I read that, it doesn't make any sense to me why that is the rule.
Yeah.
But
because it can be distracting. If your opponent drops his racket, it's hard to stay focused and hit the ball into the court the next time.
Right. Yeah. So this is a different one. Let's say that your opponent's hat falls off during play. Can you call a let?
Well, I would have said yes because I thought it would be just like a racket or a shoe. But now I'm doubting myself, so I'm gonna guess if a player's hat comes off that you can't call a let, because you just told me you can't call a let for rackets and shoes.
That's actually wrong. So it says I know it's not making sense to me either. The player whose hat falls off can't call the let, but you as the opponent can claim a let.
That's crazy.
It doesn't make any sense to me, but those are the rules. So there must be something weird about rackets and shoes.
Okay.
Rackets of an opponent, okay. You can't claim a let.
No let. Okay.
But a hat, maybe because of the wind, is different.
I don't know.
It says the rule is a player who is hindered by an opponent's unintentional act or by something outside the player's control is entitled to a let only if the player could have made the shot had the player not been hindered. Okay, that makes sense. But it goes on and says a player's racket coming out of the hand or shoe coming off is not the basis for either player claiming a let. And it says a let is never authorized for a hindrance caused by something within a player's control, such as when a player's racket comes out of hand, when a player's shoe comes off, or when a player trips over the player's own hat. Then it says, however, if a player's hat falls off during a point, an opponent may immediately call a let due to an unintentional hindrance. Does that make sense to you?
That makes no sense.
That makes absolutely no
Why
sense.
is a hat falling off different than a shoe falling off?
I don't know.
It's still very distracting.
I don't understand it. And I even went and I looked on, there's the ump section, and they brought up the one where a ball falls out of your opponent's pocket.
Okay.
And they say that you can claim a let for that. So a ball.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Which makes sense. I mean, everything except the rackets and shoes makes sense to me.
Okay. So if a ball falls out of my opponent's pocket, I can call a let.
Yes. They can't because that's within their control. That makes sense to me.
Okay. So the opponent can't call it for a ball falling out of their own pocket.
Yes. That's my understanding. They can't call it, but you can call it. Because you can't hinder yourself is the rule.
Okay.
That makes sense to me. But I don't understand why an opponent, if my opponent's racket or shoe came off and it bothered me, that I can't call it.
That's interesting. I would have thought the other player could call let if a ball fell. Like if I'm playing in a match and a ball falls out of my opponent's pocket, I think we've always stopped, called it a let, and just replayed the point.
Mm-hmm.
Whether I called it or the opponent called it, I've always done it that way. So I guess that's the difference between rules and how you just play.
How you normally play.
Yeah. Okay.
I thought that was interesting too.
That's interesting. Okay.
Okay. How about...
Learning a lot.
I know. I think I just have to memorize rackets, shoes, and you
hats.
tripping over your own hat. And hats. Okay. How about a ringing cell phone? Your opponent's cell phone rings during a point.
Okay. Well, I can definitely call a let. And I guess they can too, I guess. Right?
So the rule is that the player may immediately stop the point and claim the point because it's a deliberate hindrance.
It's not even a let?
It's not even a let. So the person whose phone was ringing obviously couldn't call a let.
Okay.
And then the opponent or the person whose phone was not ringing could immediately claim the point.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And we've had that happen before, and we just played it as a let.
Have you ever taken a point?
I've never taken a point. Have
No,
you ever?
I have never taken a point. I don't think I would because no one probably knows that rule.
I know.
You get into a fight.
No one follows these. And so I just thought these were really interesting to talk about. I would love to hear from anyone else if they actually follow these rules.
Yeah, and if they've gotten into a fight about it.
Yeah.
Because if I tried to claim a point in the middle of a match because somebody's phone rang, I'm sure they would argue it.
Oh, yeah, for sure. I wouldn't give it. I would tell them to show me the rule.
Exactly.
Even though I've read it.
Show me the rule. Yeah.
Okay, let's do another one. Let's say your opponent yells after being stung by a bee. Can you claim the let?
Yes. I could claim a let for that person yelling. Yes.
And that's correct. And it says that an unintentional hindrance would entitle the opponent to claim a let. So you could claim a let there.
Okay.
So I mean, has this helped you at all? I'm confused now. I feel like after looking at the rules.
I feel like my basic reaction is always just to claim a let or call a let and just replay the point. That seems like the fair thing, but apparently it's not necessarily the rule. So I'm very surprised. I feel like I've learned a lot.
Yeah.
I feel like maybe we should carry a copy of the rules with us to the court in case this ever comes up.
I know. I feel like if the opponent does something that's unintentional, most times you would claim a let.
Yeah.
If they do something that's intentional, and I guess a cell phone ringing is considered intentional because I guess you intentionally did not turn it off.
That's pretty harsh.
Then you claim the point. So I get that, and I guess then it's kind of if your hat falls off, then your opponent can claim a let.
But not if my shoe falls off.
But not if your shoe falls off, and not if you drop your racket.
Wow. Okay. Yeah, that's new to me.
New to me too. So let us know if that makes sense to you guys. If you understand the reasoning why your hat falling off would allow your opponent to claim a let, but your shoe coming off, a let cannot be claimed by the opponent in that situation.
Yeah, I can't think of any good reason why that would be the case.
Yeah.
That's so strange.
I think maybe the wind with a hat. Are they thinking that it's something outside anyone's control? But then a ball falling out of your pocket would be, what's the difference between a ball and a shoe coming off?
I don't get it.
I don't get it either. We need some help. So please let us know. you're not understanding this correctly.
I'm just very surprised at all of this. I've learned a lot today.
I have too, and that I don't really understand Let's. Please visit our Facebook page, which is Second Serve Podcast. Thanks so much for listening and hope to see you on the court soon.